You can integrate the energy of compassion and understand that every single person on this planet is worthy of divine source energy light in their life in the 3D. Every single person on this planet is worthy of abundance, is worthy of unconditional love, and is worthy of everything that they need in their 3-dimensional life. There is not a single person on this planet that is unworthy. Welcome to the Akashic Recordings. My name is Annette DeLu. I'm an Akashic conduit, channel, and spiritual guidance coach. What you will be hearing today is a real session with one of my clients. All the names have been changed for privacy, and of course, with their permission, we are privileged to hear these beautiful stories to allow us a small glimpse into the Akashic Records. If you would like to book a session with me and be part of the podcast, please feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. When you book your session, just make sure to check the box that you would be interested in having your session utilized for the podcast. For those of you who really wanted to sign up for Soul Discovery Workshop online, I have great news for you. You can head to my website, and on the homepage, if you go to the little box that describes Soul Discovery Workshop, there is a button there that says sign up for the waitlist. I will be running another course later on this year. So if you want to be in the know and you want to be one of the very first people to sign up for the next session of Soul Discovery Workshop online, feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. Go to that homepage, click sign up for the waitlist, send your email, phone number, as well as your first and last name, and I will make sure that you get that registration email as soon as the next course is ready to launch. In addition, you will get a little discount code for early bird sign up. So if you're interested, head over there now. This is a very powerful session. Celeste came to me to talk about the loss of two of her soulmates. One was a man that she was involved with, and the second was a soulmate cat that she had. And as it turns out, this cat is a multidimensional being. Interestingly enough, very similar to my previous multidimensional being I had in my life named Lucius. So some of you may have connected with me early on when Lucius was still around and when he was very much a part of the podcast, as you could hear him meow often throughout the course of the recordings. It's interesting for a lot of reasons, because when this session was recorded, Lucius was in fact still alive. And this was a little over a year and a half ago. So you will hear me talking about him in this session. We do talk about how the loss of soulmates and the loss of loved ones can really serve a purpose in our life and do serve a purpose in our life. The biggest topic I want to talk about today, after you listen to the session, is why we sign up for difficult lifetimes and how that energy serves us. So tell me, what would you like to cover today?
I don't know. I looked through all your questions. I've had a lot of stuff happen recently, challenging things. I've lost two soulmates. One was a person, and then recently my cat. But I found out afterwards he sent a lot of messages that he was not just a cat. And we've had so many lives together. His messages are that he's coming back for me. I'm not sure if he's going to be a person or a cat, so I don't know if any of that could be in there, but
sure.
My person that I lost also, I think what I've gotten is that the three of us sign up a lot together, and I'm not sure. I feel like I've lost them, but they've also lost me, so it's been so much loss that I'm am I working through just past life trauma stuff with them, or Boo, my cat. I mean, he definitely has been I'm a multidimensional being. So are you. This is what we're doing. So I guess I'm just wondering what's the purpose of all of it. Or I don't know if you can get a reading on not when he's coming, or I know we're not supposed to ask the when, right?
That is true from one perspective, but when it comes to a being that's coming back to you, and we'll find out if Boo's coming back as a cat or not. if Boo is coming back as a cat, the when is actually kind of important so you know where to find him.
Oh my God. Thank you. Great. Because I've been like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And then I found these kittens that are under a construction site that I'm like trying to help just to get out to rescue. And I keep asking, I'm like, are you under there? And he's like, no. I'm like,
Uh-uh.
okay, but I'm supposed to find them, but I'm supposed to help them. He's like, yeah, but it's not me.
My current cat, who is still alive, he told me not too long ago about what he wanted for when he returns to me.
Oh my God, it's great.
He showed me exactly where I'm going to be getting him. And he said it'll be 6 months after he passes. And then he said that he wanted me to get him from a breeder. And I was like,
Girl, I don't do that.
I don't do breeders. I do rescue. He goes,
Yeah.
you're going to do a breeder because I don't want to have a traumatic kittenhood. I keep on having traumatic kittenhoods and I don't want it.
Oh.
He's like, I want a nice posh kittenhood where like I'm well taken care of and I don't have any trauma. And I was like, oh, okay.
I totally get that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So yeah, we certainly can get that type of information so
Yeah.
you can know what to look out for and around what time. And then of course, he's going to give you lots of signs to let you know when it's time. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wondered as in general, because when all this stuff had been happening and like I got a lot of premonitions about him and like it was just a lot of like he was actually great when he left and he was super healthy, but I think what he had said afterwards is like he was always going into portals and doing all this stuff and traveling basically, and he just couldn't get back to his body in time. So it felt very much like, am I like cursed? Like I just keep losing my
Mm.
soulmates, and I'm like, was it to like lose? I'm like, I guess I don't have any left now here on the planet at the moment that I actually know in this physical life. And I'm like, so I'm just wondering,
Mm.
I'm like, did I get cursed a long time ago? And like, have I done something wrong? Did I piss off the old gods? That's kind of come up a lot. Like, I did
Mm.
something. I don't know. So that was what I was wondering too.
Yeah, we can certainly look at that. I can definitely say that it doesn't necessarily have to do with pissing off any gods.
Okay.
It's usually some sort of either curse or it could be part of your path. So we'll definitely take a look at which one it is.
Okay.
And there could be multiple other reasons in there that I don't even know about yet. So we'll definitely look. In terms of your soulmate that you lost as a human, can you tell me who this person was to you and what happened?
Yeah. So he was my boyfriend. We were together for a long time. It was like the kind of person when you meet them and you're like, I've known you forever since the beginning.
Mm.
And so we met and it was just like this crazy, like, oh my gosh. And he had a lot of issues in the physical focus here. He dealt with a lot of bipolar, maybe chemical imbalance stuff. And at the end, like he ended up having a nervous breakdown and like abandoning me in our, like in the middle of our relationship. And it was like, I thought we were getting married. Like it was just this weird stuff. But then like afterwards, like when he tried to get better, it's like we were never not together, but we weren't like we had this different relationship where it was like, you're still my soulmate, you're my person. It's like he couldn't show up for me in a way that like he thought that I needed him to, when I was just like, I just can't imagine not having you. So then like that was kind of going on. And like right before he died, I think he knew because he was texting me like, you're my forever, right? You're my person, you're this, you're that. And then he went out to Palm Springs and was like having fun with some random people that he barely knew. And he had a seizure and just left. And I think that he didn't want to be on this plane anymore. I knew that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It was like hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like when he died, it was like, oh, I can't believe it. Now I totally get it. Cause like he comes around and he's so happy being there. And he's basically said he's like with me now. He's like, this is how I can be with you forever. And so it's not as sad anymore. It's more like he's very funny and happy and like sarcastic. And I don't know, like his signs are hilarious. Like, and the things he says are just great. But like Boo is more serious. Like Boo's like, I'm your beloved. Like I am you. I'm your heart, basically. So,
Oh.
but yeah, I know he's still with me. I just think he wasn't supposed to be in this world anymore. Yeah.
The one thing that I am getting, I don't need to be in his own records in order to know this, but I'm just being shown that he took an exit point.
Yeah.
We all have exit points in our lives, and we have a definite death day that we sort of predetermine before we come here. But that can also be something that doesn't happen, so we might check out early, we might take one of the exit points, we might get entangled in something that we weren't meant to and we're killed. There's all kinds of things that can happen. And so what they're showing me though is that this wasn't when he was supposed to die, but it was actually one of his exit points and he took it.
Yeah. That's exactly how it felt. It was like he said afterwards, like, oh, finally, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like
Yeah.
relieved to be like, oh, I'm finally out of this body. And I do get it. He was very like, he had a lot of trauma. And so he wasn't comfortable in his skin a lot. And so he's really, really happy being out.
All right. So we'll take a look at both of those relationships, and then we'll also look at any new potential soulmates that are going to come in for you. We can take a look at your soul family and your soul origin and your soul purpose and see how that's all playing out and what that has to do with what's been going on. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you to Akula, my Akashic guide, for being here. Thank you to Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon for being here as well and allowing us access to the Akashic Records. So we are opening up the Akashic Records. All right. So the first thing I'm being guided to look at is your connection with your human soulmate. I'm seeing like an image of Groucho Marx. I think that's Groucho Marx. He's the one with the little cigar that he like plays with the big eyebrows. I don't know why he's showing me that.
Could have been that in this past life. He was a total comedian. He could make me laugh till I cried.
Okay, that's probably why then, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he chose Groucho Marx specifically, though, because he could have chosen like any number of comedians, but that was who he chose specifically.
Yeah, that is weird.
So he's telling me there's a reason. Okay, cool. Okay. So how many lifetimes do we need to look at? 2. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one, please. First of all, actually, before we start on that first lifetime, are they soul family? They are not. Okay. So soul family and soulmates they can be 2 different things. They can be the same, but they can be 2 different things. So I just wanted to check in to see if he was part of your soul family, and he's not. That means that he is a soulmate. Yes, he's a soulmate that came in to her experience many lifetimes ago. They've incarnated in many lifetimes together. They just simply enjoy each other, and they've had these experiences together because they choose it each and every time. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's see what you are here in each other's lives for in this previous lifetime. Can you tell me what country this is in? It's in Poland. Okay. Weirdly enough, this is the very first time I've ever actually come across anyone who was in the Holocaust.
Interesting.
You both were there. Your children. You're no older than 6. He's about 10. You're basically curled up in a ball. He's there trying to make you laugh and trying to sort of make light of the situation. It's not particularly working because you're really terrified. You're very, very scared. They had just taken your parents from you. You didn't have any other siblings. This was somebody that you met in the camp where you were in Poland. He saw you come in and he knew that you needed help. He had been there for quite a while. He was old enough to work and to be of use in the camp. He was incredibly skinny, but he was able to do what he needed to do with the energy that he had. He had a lot of energy. You grew attached to each other over the course of about 2 years. He taught you how to do certain things. Even though you were young, you were still able to do laundry. You were still able to do certain things. He made sure that you made yourself known as being useful, because had he not, you would have died instantly. I keep on hearing him say to the guards there that I promise you she won't be any trouble. She won't be any trouble. She'll be useful. I can promise you she'll be useful. It was because of him that you survived. He tried to shield you from seeing some of the horrors that happened there, but it was nearly impossible to do so. Everywhere you walked, everywhere you looked, there was something horrible happening. Over the course of the 2 years, you created a bond together in the human form, but on a soul level, you had already been bonded long ago. One of the reasons why it is rare for me to see souls that have incarnated in concentration camps during the Holocaust is because most of the souls that I have a tendency to do sessions with are advanced souls that don't need to experience that type of atrocity. They've already experienced all kinds of atrocities in other lifetimes long, long ago. And oftentimes, light workers will skip those periods of time because they know what's going to happen. The reason why you decided to agree to incarnate at this time was because there were certain light workers that were needed in that particular place and time in order to help transmute the trauma that was happening to the souls in those places. There needed to be elements of light. There needed to be places where some of the souls that were incredibly lost, defeated, grief stricken, and absolutely overwhelmed with fear, there needed to be some element of light. Otherwise, their souls would have had a hard time crossing over. You were one of the volunteers to incarnate for a short amount of time during that particular period of time. Any light worker that incarnated during that time, they always went in pairs, and they went as bonded pairs as well to keep each other elevated in the energy, to be able to help the energy of all of the rest of the souls in each one of these places. So I'm seeing that you lost him first. He essentially died of exhaustion. They just worked him too hard and too long, and he died of exhaustion. I'm getting he was about 12 and a half. By this time, you had proved your worth, and you could actually do your job on your own. It's not that you didn't need him, but you had enough experience in seeing the horrors of what happened to know that literally at any moment, any of those things could happen to you or him. So you had already sort of mentally prepared yourself for the eventuality of that happening. Oh, wow. Okay. Also, part of the exhaustion that he died from was because he was lending his energy to so many people to help prop them up, to help them through the transition, that it literally just depleted him of all of his life force energy in that life.
Sounds like him.
So interestingly enough, you also were able to escape any sort of big trauma in terms of your death. You died not too long after, but you actually survived the concentration camp. You were able to get out. But I'm seeing you literally like it's like the second you got out of the camp is when you died. You almost created a life in the concentration camp. So it's like you created this life as this child, and then when you were able to leave and you finally did, it's like you had nothing else to live for and you had nothing else to do. And your family was all gone. You had nobody. Ultimately, your soul had taken an exit point at that time to just kind of be done with that lifetime because it was enough to live just those like 10 and a half years that you lived by the time you got out. When you have elevated souls that have these types of traumatic experiences, you get an element of, I don't want to say reward. It's not a reward, but it's like a bonus that if you incarnate in a time or a place like that, that is really, really, truly difficult, you get the bonus of not having to carry that trauma with you into the next lifetimes.
Is it possible to just see those lifetimes? Because I've had so many images of me. It's like I have my arms stretched out and I'm like screaming, like, no, like somebody's being pulled away from me.
Mm.
And it's usually him.
Okay.
But it's like I see it in many, like we look different and like I know it's us, but like, so if I didn't bring the trauma, I guess I'm just wondering if maybe I'm just like remembering it, the lifetime then?
Yeah, you can remember the lifetime without carrying the trauma. When you carry the trauma with you, it's a lot to uncover over the course of lifetimes. You would not be able to be in the position that you are now in terms of your intuition and be able to hear and connect in as well as you do if you had carried that sort of trauma with you. Okay.
Okay.
But that does not mean that you're not going to remember it or that you're not going to have flashes of it at certain points. So they are telling me that that is the lifetime that you were tapping into. And it happened several times throughout that lifetime where they would take him somewhere. They would put him on another detail for work or something like that. And each time they took him away from you, you thought it was going to be the last time you saw him.
Yeah, that's definitely what I see.
Yeah, they did this 3 different times. The last time is when he did actually die. And you knew it because you knew sort of the schedule and when he would come back. And when he didn't come back for like 3 days, you knew. You knew at that point. But they're saying to me that you knew before that even.
Yeah.
It's important to know this for both of your soul purposes. And we'll get to your soul purpose after we look at the second lifetime. This is all important information for you to know based on what you're here to do. And they're just giving me the words anchoring the light. You're an anchor for that divine source energy, and you always have been. So let's take a look at that second lifetime you want us to look at, please. This lifetime we're looking at, it was 9 lifetimes ago. I'm interested as to why they're showing it to me this way. I'm looking at both of you through a window. You're at some sort of tea room. You're having tea. Everything is very proper and...
I was going to say, is he wearing a top hat? That's what I just saw.
Yeah, you're wearing this elaborate hat. He's wearing like tails and yeah, it's very, very proper.
Like England or something?
Yes. Okay, whose perspective do I have? Why am I looking at them through the window? Whose eyes am I looking at her through? Her husband's. Okay. All right. So if her husband is seeing her having tea, what is the situation that's happening right now? You were meeting him for business purposes. This wasn't any sort of like affair or anything like that. You were actually meeting him for business purposes. I'm getting that he was some sort of a lawyer, but your husband didn't know that. He didn't know it was business purposes. And he just sort of assumed that it was somebody that you were having an affair with. Well, because he also saw the energy between you two. And even though like I'm seeing you two being very professional, like there's not a single like ounce of anything. He's being very professional. You're being very proper. Like there's nothing weird going on in any way. And there's nothing scandalous or anything like that. It's just a meeting. And that was unusual in and of itself, though, at the time. Typically, women would not meet with a man for business purposes in that way. But it just so happens that he had a slot of time available. He was at the tea room already. So you decided to meet him there to have this discussion. It was about your family's wealth. So your husband thought that either you were trying to cut him out of your family's wealth or that you were having an affair with this guy. He couldn't figure out which one it was. So I'm seeing you get up. You've got like white gloves on and you shake his hand and you exit. He takes out a pen and a pad of paper and writes something down. You see your husband across the street staring at you because he didn't care that you saw him. In fact, he wanted you to see him. He grabs you by the elbow and actually kind of like really roughly leads you back towards where you live. You were living within walking distance. And he's kind of not being very kind to you. He had a really bad temper, a lot of jealousy. He's saying, if you think you can get out of this marriage unscathed, you have another thing coming. I will kill you and I will kill him before you even get a chance. You're telling him he's ridiculous. You're not super afraid of him, or there's an element of fear there, but like you basically are telling him how ridiculous he's being and that this man has nothing to do with anything and that it was just a business meeting. And then he kind of went into the tirade of, well, you're going to be cutting me out of your family's money. I know it. You've been planning this since we got married. And you're saying, well, I've thought of it, sure, but you don't deserve my family's money at this point. You haven't fulfilled your end of the bargain for this marriage. What was he supposed to do for the marriage? No, he was supposed to work for your father, but he could never quite do it. Like he just wasn't skilled enough. He was supposed to uphold the family business because there were no brothers. It was only you and your sister. So they needed another man to come in and take over the family business. And he wasn't good at it and he wasn't qualified. And so your father technically fired him, sort of.
That's interesting.
He didn't exactly fire him. He was like, oh, you know what? I think you operate better as a man of leisure. So here, I'll give you a salary and you just go and do whatever you want to do. So he just kind of like quietly like kind of pushed him away.
Uh-huh.
And so you're quite angry with him and you're telling him that he didn't earn the money that he has anyway. And the only reason why he has it is because he's married to you. And you say that if he were to kill you, that he would get nothing anyway. So you know that he's not going to do that because it's not in his best interest. You have a really wonderful energy about you. Like you're not letting him like shake you. He's really doing his best to intimidate you. And you're just like, nope. Mm-mm. Weirdly enough, I don't know why they're showing me this now, but they're saying that like you under no circumstances wanted to have children with this man. And so you basically did everything you possibly could to make sure that you didn't get pregnant. You did find yourself fantasizing about Thomas from time to time, not because of anything other than the fact that the thought of being with somebody who was kind and who was proper was something that you would really love to be involved in. And the fact that your current husband was not a great person, it was rather difficult for you. So all of this information is great, but can you tell us a little bit about like what this has to do with the soul purpose and why they've incarnated together in this particular lifetime? He gives her strength. He always gives her strength. Okay. Just that. Oh, okay. They're saying to me that prior to that meeting with him, you may not have been able to stand up to your husband as much as you did, because just the energy between the two of you, the energetic exchange that you share is enough to give you both strength. So it's like you connect to each other when you need each other the most, and then you depart each other's lives. Like there are just many instances of this throughout the course of your incarnations where just when you need each other the most, that's when you incarnate together, or that's when you have the experiences together. And then when that time is over, it ends. Is there a reason why they can't just live out their lives together as opposed to departing right after they help each other? No, there's not any particular reason why they couldn't stay together. They just haven't as of yet. Okay. They both have had very, very different journeys in their lives. It's part of the reason why that they can help each other is because of their different perspectives. He has had a much more difficult trajectory, and so he can lend her some of the strength that he has built up over time as a sort of energy exchange. And she, in turn, exchanges with him some of her light to help him come out of the darkness. This can't happen all at once. It has to happen in pieces and parts, because if it were to happen all at once, it would be too much for both of them. If you can imagine a sun that just shines a little too brightly, that's what it would be like for an entire lifetime. It would be too much for him to handle, too much contrast. It's not to say that they won't be together for a full lifetime in the future, in other lifetimes. That is a possibility as he works towards his healing journey. But the amount of time they had together in this particular lifetime was enough. Just this one meeting that they had was enough to give her that strength in that lifetime and to give him that light that she gave to him. They have been doing this back and forth for many, many lifetimes. That's really beautiful.
It very much resonated with this life, everything that you said. So,
is there anything else that we need to know about their lifetimes together? Yes. It is a small thing, but it is an important thing. They do not save each other. They exchange the energy and just the right amounts of what they need to help each other along their path, but they are not saving each other. That is not something that they are meant to do, nor would it be healthy for them to do, because when one steps in and saves the other, it prevents the other from learning the lesson that they need to learn. They are simply there as support for each other, and that is how it's meant to be. I'm going to ask what we need to see in terms of your soul purpose, because I feel like it's significant based on the lifetime that we saw that you decided to incarnate during the Holocaust. Because if your particular soul is having that resonance of anchoring the light, it's going to be expanded upon. The information needs to be expanded upon at this time. Let me take a look. You do have soul family. Part of the reason why you feel like they are far from you is not that they are far from you, it's that you're all spread out. So the soul purpose of your entire soul family is an anchor to the light. And in order to anchor the light on the planet, you have to be in different places. So I'm literally seeing your entire soul family spread throughout the globe, almost in like equidistant spaces as well. So it makes it slightly more difficult for you to meet members of your soul family because they're all spread out. It doesn't mean that you're not going to meet them. It just means that it makes it a little bit more difficult to meet them organically, with the exception of maybe travel or meeting them on the internet. All right. So then what is specific purpose other than anchoring the light, please? Okay. So in the life that they're showing me, it's a representation of how you literally lift people up into the light. In this particular lifetime, they're showing me you were a priest. And a lot of times people sort of give that job, let's say, a bad name because of history, because of everything that has happened with various churches and religions and whatnot. But your role as a priest was 100% pure. You were kind-hearted. You cared about the people that came to your church. You helped them in every way possible. And every single person that came to that church was uplifted every single time they went. And it's almost as if, that's funny. It's almost as if your parishioners became addicted to your sermons and to like the things that you said, because it wasn't just the things that you said. It was literally your energy that was helping to lift them up. And your job on this planet is not only to anchor the light, but then to lift up the energy of people temporarily. It's like you lend your energy temporarily to allow them to lift their energy up so they can feel what it feels like to be in that energy, so they can strive to have that themselves. So it's like giving them a little taste of what it feels like to be in that beautiful, yummy, divine energy. So then they can say, that's what I want more of. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start striving to be. And that's what you inspired people to do. So your inspiration was actually in your energy versus your words or the sermons or whatever it was. It was something that you very much enjoyed doing. It was very natural for you. And it was something that was super aligned with what you're here to do.
It makes sense. I had a store for a really long time, and I always joke that I was like everybody's local, like almost therapist, but like I had so many people would just come in, and I would just give them energy, and I knew it was happening because it would happen so often, and like just like the regulars that would come by just to get like a little hit of it, and it was like that was like the most in sync with myself that I've ever felt, and it was about like 10 or 12 years that I had it. And since, I've really been floundering because it's really felt like, oh, wow, I'm not in alignment with my purpose anymore. I'm still giving energy to people, but maybe just because of all the loss too, but like something's off.
Yeah, one of the things that they're saying is that you are in a period of recovery. The problem with giving your energy so much is that you do have to take time to replenish. And that's what some of this time is about for you. So you do need to replenish. And then you also need to know and learn how to regenerate your energy without it depleting you. They want you to use this time to really experiment with that, because the next phase of your life, whatever you thought you were giving in terms of energy in the store that you had, this next phase of your life, it's going to ramp up significantly, like double what it was with the store. They want you to prepare for this because it is part of what you are meant to do, and it is part of your soul path and your life path. It's just you need to be able to prepare yourself for it. And that's what this time is about.
Do they have any suggestions on how to regenerate? It's been a question that I've had for a while now.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's part of the reason why Thomas had to depart from your life when he did. Not that he died when he did, but just when he separated from you when he did.
I was too dependent.
Yes.
On his he was a generator in human design too, but he lent me so much energy. I could do anything with him.
Yes. So you needed to be able to do this on your own. I'm just hearing he's given you enough to start with and to understand how it works. And now it's time for you to sort of generate your own. Do you have any suggestions about how she can regenerate her own energy? It's very much about balance, in the sense that when she does give her energy or she lends her energy, she needs to be able to have that be reciprocal. So it is a circuit, if you will. It's a closed circuit versus somebody just taking her energy.
Taking.
So it has to be a reciprocal energetic exchange. In your current world, the most common version of the energetic exchange would be money, and that's the easiest way. But the more effective way would be to have somebody contribute in some way in order to be able to exchange that energy. It is up to you to set the intention of the people that will be coming to you for this energy exchange. When you set the intention that their energy will benefit you just as much as your energy benefits them, then the universe will start sending you people that will give you that energetic balance. That is how you regenerate your energy on a regular basis. It is not that you deplete your energy and then at the end of it having to take a year off or 2 years off to regenerate that energy. It is a constant chain of regeneration based on every single person that comes to see you. This is not something that you will necessarily see with your eyes, but it is an energetic exchange nonetheless. You will have an exchange with somebody. You will give them a little bit of your energy, and they will in turn give you a little bit of theirs. And maybe it's a little bit of strength. Maybe it's a little bit of love. Maybe it's a little forgiveness. Maybe it's a little pure divine source energy. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's just going to be setting the intention of whatever energy that you need at that time. So it's like a selective process. It's like a weeding out process. Not that you're going to be doing the weeding out. The universe is going to do that for you. You have to say to the universe, hey, don't just send me any schmo who's looking to steal my energy.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be sending me people that are aligned with where I'm going and what I'm doing, and that can effectively give me that energy exchange. So is this something that is going to be a job, like an actual job? Yes. Okay. What kind of store was it before?
Clothing. We had art shows. So I think it was less about what I was selling, but more about the space that people could come through.
Yeah.
But I was also very connected to all of the things that I was selling, and it was like I was in the flow of it, you know. I've always thought maybe I'm supposed to have another store, but I don't know if that's it. Am I supposed to? Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I am seeing that you could have another store. The energy of it, setting the tone of it is going to be very, very important. The focus is like I'm seeing like conscious painting. I'm seeing conscious art. I'm seeing conscious meditation.
Yeah, if I opened a store now, I was kind of been leaning towards like the metaphysical, but I don't know if I want to do that in a physical space. But that's what I would probably do.
I'm seeing that it's got to be a space that you can dip in and dip out of.
Like I can't just be sitting there all day, kind of a thing.
Right, exactly. As opposed to like an actual retail store, even though you might have some retail things about it, it's going to be more of like a space. So that's why I was saying I could see somebody coming into your shop and actually booking the space for workshops and things like that. That's the type of space that you could have that would be something that you could dip in and out of. Like you wouldn't have to be there all the time. So the focus is not necessarily retail. It's more a focus on experience. And then the retail element of it would be sort of secondary.
I was thinking yesterday and I was trying to like rescue these kittens, the construction site thing. And I was like, I wonder if I should open like a cat cafe so I can like get the kittens, like get cats adopted on this one street. And I was thinking about it that way. I'm like, oh, it would be like someplace that people could just go. I could also sell things just to like make side money. But do you think it's more the other way, the metaphysical way?
It is.
Yeah.
The cat cafe would be great, but I'm actually hearing Boo. Boo is chiming in. And he's literally saying, please don't. He's basically saying like, I don't want you coming home smelling like all of those cats. Like,
oh my God.
He's like, please don't.
It's so funny. That was my last thought last night after I mentioned it to my sister. And then I said, oh shit, Boo would hate that. He'd hate me coming home smelling like that. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Not that you need to make the decision based on him.
No. I'm just looking for guidance at the moment, you know. So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is an option, but they're saying that the workshop space, retail space, metaphysical shop is a little bit more aligned for what you're going to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm seeing you eventually, not right away, like maybe after the first year or two, developing your own workshop that you'll run out of your own space. Initially, it's more you would be starting the business with you doing mediumship work and things like that. The store allows you to connect with other people where you can start finding your soulmates and your people that are supposed to be in your
Aligned.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is there any other information that we need to know about soul purpose? Yes. Okay. What else? Is he a part of her soul? He is. Oh. Oh, is he her Akashic guide? He is. Oh. Does that always happen? It doesn't. It's interesting. Okay. Okay. I think I need to back up and explain a couple of things first before I dive into this. Every single person on the planet has an Akashic guide. You heard me in the beginning of this session. I was saying hi to Akula. He's my Akashic guide. The bit of information I got actually earlier this summer was that all of our Akashic guides are, in fact, part of our own soul. So it is literally a portion of our soul that is basically sort of a different energy, a different being, if you will, on the other side that sort of stays behind as one of our guardians, as one of our Akashic guides. Okay. Your Akashic guide, which is also a part of your soul, is actually Boo.
Oh, it makes sense. My message from him is a lot of the times it's I am you. Yeah.
Yep. And that's exactly what he means.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
He's saying he was not trying to be esoteric. He was telling you literally.
No, I just think that maybe that's why when I connect with him, it's like, it's so overwhelming. It's like getting a piece of my heart back. So, like when I do a meditation and I'm like, "Are you here, Boo?" And then I start to feeling as soon as he connects to my heart, it's like just tears. And it's like, feels like this huge conduit. It's crazy.
He's saying it's a soul recognition of who you really are. He doesn't mean to make you cry, but it's just the energy of that pure love that your soul is.
Yeah, no, I don't even mind the crying. It's so overwhelming. It's like the best feeling ever to feel him like that.
So what does this have to do with her soul purpose? Because when I asked if you had more information about her soul purpose, you said yes. And then you showed me Boo and the fact that their soul was attached and that he is part of her soul. What is the connection there? Boo is actually helping her achieve her soul purpose. That is part of the reason why he is incarnated as a cat as opposed to being on the other side as your Akashic guide is, Annette, is because for her specific purposes, she needed that energy closer to her in the physical. Okay, what is the reason for that? He serves almost as a reminder as to who she is. She needs to constantly be reminded of the anchor of light that she is here to do, because there are times when she can get pulled down into the darkness. And Boo has been that secondary anchor for her to be able to understand why she truly is here and to not get stuck in the darkness. He keeps her elevated. Okay. He's saying to me that he passed away when he did because he also needed to make a decision as to when he was going to be in your life. There's a particular period of time that he needed to be there for you. Had he crossed over in his cat life, he may have missed that period of time that he needed to be there for you. So he opted also to sort of, he's not saying he checked out early because he didn't check out early, but he basically didn't try hard to come back into the body. Let's put it that way. He was like, I could try really hard to come back, but you know what? It might be better if I don't, because then with the timing of everything as it's moving forward, I will be able to be there for her when she really needs me. And during this particular time, it wasn't necessary for him to be there. Even though he's saying you think that that's not the case, you think that this was exactly the time that you needed him.
Yes.
But he's not serving the purpose of making your human self feel better or consoling your human self. He is here on an energetic basis. And from an energetic basis, what is to come is more important for him to be support for you versus where you are now.
Meaning where him being energetic form at the moment. Is that what you mean? That like, that's just where he's supposed to be right now?
Well, what he's showing me is like when you go into the next phase where you're going to be exchanging that energy with so many more people, you're going to need him in a physical form near you to be able to help balance that energy, transmute any energy that doesn't belong, like do all of these things. Like he's got a big job ahead of him in the next life. So in order to do that effectively and not break the energy of being able to do that job, it made more sense for him to just leave now and then come back and be a fresh new cat. It does sound like he's going to be another cat. So like he's going to be a fresh new cat that he can hang out 15 to 20 years and help you with all of the things that you need. I don't know why he's showing me a black cat.
His last form, he was mostly black, but he had the swirls on him. He was like a gray and black with like tiger stripes on his arms and his face. I keep seeing a black cat too, but not like fully black. It's kind of swirly as well. So I don't know if it's just me thinking he'll look similar.
Boo, do you want to look similar? No, I want to be completely black. Okay.
Okay.
I'm seeing black with green eyes. Where is she going to get you? Where is she going to find you? She'll find me.
Hello. Information.
He's just saying like, it's almost as if he'll just walk up to you and you'll be like, oh, there you are.
Yeah. What I've seen is like literally like a portal opens and just out pops a kitten. And he's like, hey, what's up? I'm back.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I mean, this might be important, but I'm just seeing like a sidewalk like up to a house. So at the sidewalk, and I'm getting chills right now, at the sidewalk where, people go, not the sidewalk up to the house, there's a little tiny white fence, maybe only knee high. There's a little white fence. Like I'm seeing you on the walkway of this house, and that's where you see him. Is that the exact place that she's going to see you? Yes. Okay.
In front of a house with a little Alice in Wonderland gate.
Yeah.
Okay. Mini white fence, boo-boo.
I don't know if it's a house in your neighborhood or maybe it's a house where like wherever the family is or whoever the family is, it's like their cat had kittens and this is one of the kittens.
So he's not going to be like homeless on the streets.
No.
Okay. Also not like a traumatic kittenhood.
No. He's saying he's already picked the house. He's picked the cats.
So are they in existence?
No, not yet.
Okay.
The parents are the parents of the cats.
Okay.
He's saying don't go looking for it. It's super specific. So is there another potential clue that you can give her? Because giving super specific information can be challenging as well as getting no information, right? Like if you have super specific information, you're like, okay, well, what if things change? And what if if it doesn't come out that way? He's saying it will, but do you have any other information? No, not at this time. She's going to know. She's going to know when it is. She's going to know where it is. And I talk to her all the time. She knows. You couldn't make it easy like my cat did for me. Like it's a place on the internet.
Do we have a time frame? I feel like it's part of the game almost.
Well, it's also, I'm hearing the game of trust too. Like for you to be able to trust. He says if he does change his plan, he will definitely let you know. Time frames. I'm getting 3 months. 3 months from now. Yes. Okay. He's like, you got to take care of that kitten situation you got going on. Oh, that's so funny.
I am supposed to get them out of there, right, Boo?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
But that's why he's saying 3 months because like that'll give you enough time to like rescue them and rehome them and stuff like that. But like he wants them all to be gone by the time he comes. So
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want a friend at all? No. Okay.
Well, I still have Roundy, my other cat. And I feel like she sees him a bunch and they play together. Or when he's around, she's just like, oh, shit, there he is. But I assume she will still be here once he gets here.
Yeah. He's saying he messes with her often.
Yeah.
She's not a multidimensional being.
No. Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I know. She's just a cat.
She's just a cat. And so he likes messing with her?
Oh, I hope he's being nice messing with her, though.
He's like, it's no different from a human just playing with a cat. Like,
oh, okay.
In that way, like he messes with her. But like,
yeah, okay.
she's a tiny bit confused though, because like she's still playing with him like he's alive and she knows he's not. She's a tiny bit confused.
She seems confused. Yes.
Yeah, it'll make sense to her when he comes back. Then she's going to be like, oh, that's why. Okay, got it. Like, quite frankly, she doesn't really care. Like, she's not like, oh, I wonder what this is all about. Like, she's not curious about it at all. She's just like, oh, well, that's weird. I'm super confused about what's happening here and why, but whatever. I'm going to go do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't really super care about what's going on. She is confused about it, but she doesn't really care.
Okay. Well, that's good. I do think she was depressed for a little bit afterwards, but it's kind of changed. And now I just feel like I know she sees him and she plays with him. And sometimes she's like, I think he's like, she's chasing him around the house. Actually, maybe he's chasing her. I don't know.
I'm seeing him like smack her on the, like right by her tail and then
Mhm.
like going and hiding. She's like, I know something hit me. What was that?
Yeah.
So he's saying that she did miss him, of course,
Uh-huh.
but it's also more his energy she missed as well. And so once his energy came back, then she
Mhm.
was just like, oh, okay, you're here,
Mhm.
but you're not here, but you're here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Has he jumped in her a couple times? Because there's been times because she's just not she's just a cat. But like I really felt him because she did a couple things that he would do. It was only like twice, but I was like, oh my God, she doesn't like to be like hugged. And she was like letting me do that a couple times. I don't know. And I just felt like, is Boo doing this or what's happening? Because
Boo, did you take her for a test drive? I did not. Okay. I'm getting that basically it's just learned behavior. Like she saw him do these things. And so like she's throwing you a bone because she knows you miss him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other information, Boo, that you want to share with her? No, not right now. I do want to address what you had asked about curses. So I wanted to kind of check in to see if there are any curses or anything that's going on. Okay, so does she have any soul contracts she needs to clear? No. Does she have any vows? No. Because she is the anchor of the light, there are very few things that stick to her. You're like energetic Teflon, essentially. Does she have any curses? She has one curse, but it is not on her. Okay. It is ancestral line. Okay. Got it. Paternal? No. Maternal. All right. So I'd like you to imagine that you're in a clearing of grass and flowers with a circle of trees surrounding you. And in front of you, there's a door. And I would like you to open the door and walk inside. Inside this space is your sacred space where your Akashic records are held. And it's no surprise that Boo is here as well. And in the center of the space, you have a pedestal with a book on it. And this is a representative of all the signatures of all the people that you've ever had any incarnations with over the course of your life's history on this planet. And we're going to take a look at the maternal ancestral line to see what curse needs to be cleared. How many generations going back? We are going back 17 generations. Okay. This is an old curse. This is a blood curse. This is something that was done to her. This was an actual curse. Okay. Can we invite in the ancestor that this happened to, please? So this ancestor was having an affair with this man who was somewhat influential, not particularly wealthy, but influential. The wife found out about it. Okay, so it's pretty cut and dry, actually. So the wife found out about it and went to the local herbalist, and they're saying this in quotes, the local herbalist, and asked her to make her go away, make your ancestor go away. So this blood curse was created to repel any woman from connecting into the energy. What was the exact curse then, please? Like she couldn't connect into any energy of any man? Yes. She is here to clear this ancestral line curse for her entire lineage. Okay. So basically, the curse is also saying something like, if you do meet a man and you connect with them, that your life will be miserable if you do.
Does it also say that? Because I've just had similar situations where my male friends, nothing going on with us, but like their wives like hate me or their girlfriends are really jealous of me or like suspicious. It's been my whole life.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
part of the energy signature of what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. The woman who had this curse cast. So do we need to clear it from the woman who cast the curse? No, it is the one that set the intention for the curse. That's what I thought. Okay, so then the woman who cast the curse, is she available on the energetic planes to speak to? She is not. Is she incarnated? She is. Okay. Can we ask her higher self to step forward into the sacred circle? So I invited you here in order to help clear this curse that you cast 17 generations ago. She's like, I did what now? Yeah, so it's a past life thing where you cast a curse on a woman for having an affair with your husband, And we just need you to rescind that curse if you don't mind. She's saying, yeah, no problem. I don't even know what you're talking about, but yeah, I'll do it. That's fine. How does her higher self not know about this? Yeah, she's under a pretty thick veil. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, she's got a lot going on. Okay. She's not on her sort of spiritual journey yet. She's still very much in the 3D. That's why. Okay. So all I need you to do is sign the Akashic Records releasing every single member of her ancestral line going back 17 generations and remove that curse from every single person throughout those 17 generations, please. I don't know why she's saying her name is Kalaya. Why is that significant? I usually don't get names. It's interesting. Wait, is Kalaya the one that cast the curse? Yes. Oh, okay. It's a really pretty name. Yeah, you can totally do that. She's asking if she can just remove any curses anytime that she has ever cast in her whole existence. And yeah, you can rescind any curses that you've ever cast ever in your entire existence. That's fine. She's saying she doesn't want to hurt people. Okay. It is done. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I know you don't understand it. It's okay. But you just did a really beautiful thing for a lot of people, so it's good. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm seeing the words and the curse sort of curl off of each one of the people in your ancestral line. It's being transmuted and removed. And I'm going to invite all of the ancestors to join hands, create a column of light all the way up to the divine, and allow each one to be at peace. It is complete. Okay, thank you. All right, wonderful. Okay, so we are going to close the Akashic Records. Thank you to Akula, my Akashic guide. Thank you, Boo, for your insight and all of your information. So I'm going to close the Akashic Records. The records are closed. The records are closed. The records are closed. Thank you. Okay. How do you feel?
That was a lot of energy. When she signed at the end, it was like pulsating through me. Pretty cool.
So it'll take a little while, probably a few days, to sort of fully dissipate. If you feel any sort of sensations, or if you feel like purging, crying, anything like that, that's normal. Make sure you drink a lot of water, ground yourself, do all of your self-care things that you do. And yeah, let me know how you're doing, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I will talk to you soon. Yeah, sending you tons of love.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
I would like to thank Celeste for allowing me to record her session for the podcast so I can share it with all of you. We're going to be tackling some pretty big subjects today. The first I want to address is the notion or idea that our soul chooses these very difficult lifetimes. And it is true. I have seen it in the Akashic Records that we will sign up for tough situations in our life. I have also seen it, and if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you have also heard sessions where people end up in situations where maybe they didn't sign up for it. Maybe this is something that just happens to them because they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They weren't listening to their intuition, so on and so forth. This session in particular addresses a very big event in our not so distant history, which is the Holocaust. And it's very difficult for me to say that the people who were affected, tortured, killed during the events of the Holocaust signed up for that experience. What is closer to the truth is that there are many different souls that are involved in a large scale catastrophic event such as that. So as we saw in the session, there are souls that are light workers that are coming to ease the energy that is happening, light workers that are there to help people cross over, light workers that are helping in any given way that they can. I also mentioned that most ascended light workers would not necessarily choose to sign up for a lifetime that is difficult like that because they don't necessarily need that experience in their soul's history. And that is true for the most part. I was shown in my own Akashic Records that I was alive during that particular time, but I was living in a tribe that is basically where modern day Guyana would be. And I was living a life that was without technology, that was without communication. I was living a very, very simple life that was insulated from any of the things that were going on during World War II. I remember connecting to that version of myself, and I had a very deep spiritual connection. And it was because I wasn't connected or tied to what was going on in the rest of the modern world. Does that mean that I didn't have hardships in that life? Absolutely not. I did have certain hardships in that life, but they were not as extreme as obviously the hardships that people went through during the Holocaust. So what does that mean if people sign up for an event such as that? If souls sign up to be a part of that type of horrific event? I would like to channel a little bit of information about this because I don't know all of the answers myself. I have touched on several different disasters, if you will, in my Akashic sessions, but nothing to the extent of genocide. So I'd like to ask my guardian angels of the highest light what messages they have for us, the collective, about situations such as the Holocaust, genocide, horrific things that are done to people en masse. What is it that we need to know about those souls that are experiencing those situations? First, we would like to help you understand the reason for these situations. It is a great balance that takes place with these situations, the balance that needs to happen, the compassion that needs to happen. There are many things that are tied to why these atrocities are orchestrated and why they happen. Oftentimes people blame God and ask why God would allow these things to happen. And it is not about divine source energy allowing these things to happen. It is about a course correction of what can happen if energy becomes imbalanced. And in this case, with the Holocaust, energy became imbalanced with an immense power coming into play at the expense of many, many people. Why would you as a soul sign up for that experience? Many souls sign up to help. As you said, they will help bring balance. They will help bring light. They will help bring transmutation to a particular situation. It is almost as if there is one battle going on in the 3D and there is another battle that is happening on the spirit planes. Keep in mind that it is not much of a fight on the spirit planes, given the fact that energy that is in higher frequencies is much stronger than darker energy. So many souls decide to incarnate in order to affect the energy in a positive way. Some souls will incarnate in that particular situation in order to learn certain things about compassion, about helping each other, about holding space. It is not always about the actual death of the person. Sometimes it is about the experience that one has while being pushed to an extreme. There are some souls that don't sign up for these experiences and get caught up in the experience anyway. There are also some souls that choose to be a part of this in order to know what it feels like to be a victim, to know what it feels like to be a perpetrator. Because you have to consider that souls sign up on both sides. There are souls that would sign up to be the murderers. There are souls that sign up to be the victims. We understand that it's hard for you to wrap your brains around why a soul would choose something as horrific as that. And there have been many other horrific things that have happened since then and even before then. Many of the souls listening to this podcast have experienced that and worse. And you have been able to come out the other side with your soul still intact, with the growth intact, and you have been able to transmute that energy. These types of situations will make your soul stronger. It feels unfair to you most of the time to have to go through anything like this. But if you saw the grander scheme of things, you have to see that society pushes itself to the very limit to ask itself, what is acceptable? As a collective, you decide what is acceptable and what is not. And it is up to you to decide that that type of atrocity is unacceptable. You are still grappling with this idea of whether or not mass genocide is something you are willing to accept or not. It still happens on your planet to this day. And yet most people turn a blind eye to it. because they cannot process or they cannot deal with it. There is something that can be done though. You can integrate the energy of compassion and understand that every single person on this planet is worthy of divine source energy light in their life in the 3D. Every single person on this planet is worthy of abundance, is worthy of unconditional love, and is worthy of everything that they need in their 3-dimensional life. There is not a single person on this planet that is unworthy. It is all of the judgments and the lower energies and the fear protocols and everything else that gets created that creates these imbalances. These imbalances will cease to exist when every single person on this planet has come into balance within their own energy. And this will happen. This is not something that is some far off, distant future. It is happening rapidly and it is happening now. Eventually, people will get there. Just understand that it does take some time for the integration process to happen. We wanted to share that message with you for various reasons, but for the main reason of understanding that just because you choose a particularly difficult lifetime does not mean that you are being punished. It does not mean that you are paying back karma. It can mean those things if you deem it so. If you say that you are being punished, or if you say that you are paying back karma, then guess what? You are. Pay attention to what your soul is telling you as to why you are experiencing the things that you are at this time. How are these things serving you? How are these things helping you? How are these things making you a better person, bringing you more into balance? What are these situations showing you? Now, not everybody has the luxury of asking these questions. Not everybody has the intuition or the connection to the divine or to themselves to ask these questions, but it is something that you certainly can ask. If you are listening, you are connected. Celeste had asked if she was cursed because she had lost two of the most beloved souls to her. That is what humans are trained or conditioned to think, that if something bad happens, that it is because they are either cursed or something that they had done in a previous life warranted this type of punishment. And it is not a punishment. It is an experience that you likely have signed up for. It is an experience that the other person or souls have signed up for, and you are having this experience together. Okay, so thank you so much, my guardian angels. Thank you for channeling that message for us. I know it is hard for even me to really wrap my brain around the idea that people sign up for things as horrible as the Holocaust, or even something like, let's say, 9/11 or something like that, or even what's going on in Ukraine right now. Why would we sign up for those types of situations? Why would we sign up to be in conflict or war? And that is a question that can only be answered on an individual basis. I feel like if we try to answer that question on a collective basis, it's much harder to do, because it's not just one answer for an entire collective. It is a multitude of answers based on the various souls that are involved. Now, the one question you can ask is, what is being brought into balance? What is being brought into balance by this particular situation? What do you need to do in order to have something that you want? Sometimes you have to have the contrast of that. So I often talk about how in order to have unconditional love, I needed to learn what codependency was. So maybe in order to have freedom, you need to learn what not having freedom feels like. There's always that back and forth between the two halves of light and dark, yin and yang, whatever you want to call them. And those are very important for us here on Earth to experience both, integrate both, and understand that every single person on this planet is capable of both. And where are you going to integrate those emotions, those feelings? Are you going to work through them? Are you going to let your fears run away and rule your life? Are you going to take things out on other people? How are you going to process the emotions, the energy, and the feelings that you were having? I feel like this was important to address. And it's interesting because when Julia and I were doing the podcast together, we had edited this session and we had done a discussion about this. And we recorded our parts for the discussion twice. Each time they didn't work. One, there was some huge distortion going through our audio for the first one. The second one, we just couldn't record it. It just wouldn't work. And so it was clear that I needed to wait to put this out for whatever reason. And I always trust my guides that the right time and the right energy comes up exactly when it needs to. Along the same lines, I want to bring up the idea of losing soulmates, losing people that you love dearly, and why we would sign up for those particular experiences. And I can tell you right now that I have had so many sessions where people have come to me and said, my spouse has died, the love of my life has died. It was my awakening, or it jump-started my awakening, or being able to communicate with that person on the other side is what brought me to my faith and my trust in my own spirituality and my own soul. That can be a huge gift. It can be a huge sacrifice that your loved one makes in order to help you on your ascension process. It can be so many different things, and it's always for the highest good. It's interesting because we seem to really see death as the worst possible thing. At least in the Western world, we do. I know there are other places on Earth that don't necessarily look at death that way. And everything that I've seen in the records points to the fact that we have had so many incarnations. Most people have had millions of incarnations. If not here, then on other planets, other places. Death is just part of the cycle. It's part of the rebirth, if you will. And if you look at it from that perspective, it is not necessarily something that is the worst thing to happen. From what I've seen in the records, possibly the worst thing that can happen is that you could be stuck in your own psychic debris and not be able to cross over into your pure form of your soul. That could potentially be the worst thing. I feel like it is something that we don't talk about often enough. We don't talk about how a death can do so much for so many people. It can bring about positive change. It can help the person who died. Let's say they were wrapped up in their own psychic debris, and dying was actually helping their soul not to accumulate any more psychic debris. And it was allowing them to be able to go back into their original soul form so they can course correct, do what they need to do to come back again. So it's something that I'm still working on too. I still have to work on changing my belief system and my ideas about what death is, because we can talk about this in high level concepts, but when it comes down to it, when somebody dies or a beloved pet dies, it's earth shattering. I'm still not over Lucius's death. It's been over a year. Still not over it. Still not over my dad's death. Have I learned to cope with both of them? Yes, of course I have. But does it still affect me? Absolutely. It still affects me as a human. Do I understand the reason why Lucius needed to go? I certainly do. Do I see the beauty in his energy and who he was to me? Absolutely. Is he still that energy to me? Absolutely he is. I still talk to him. It's funny because I mentioned in the session that Lucius had told me exactly how to find him again. And he did. He did tell me where I was going to find him again. And the interesting thing that happened after he died was that he came to me just as I was going to sleep. He came to me about 4 months after he died and said that, in fact, he might not be coming back to me, that he, in fact, was potentially going to be human again because he had been human before. I also found out that he was, in fact, a part of my soul, just like Celeste found out that Boo is a part of her soul and is her Akashic guide. Lucius is also a part of my soul. Now, he's not my Akashic guide, but he is also a part of my soul. That's why when he was alive, I would try to read him or I would try to get information from his records. And he was very closed about the whole thing because I think he didn't want me to know who he was. And he even told me that he didn't want me to know who he was because he felt like it would change my view of him specifically. So he did tell me that he might not be coming back to me because he is contemplating being human again. And that really shattered me. It broke my heart because I thought I was getting him back. And then I realized that I wasn't. Can things like that happen? Certainly. So I got that information from him when he was embodied in a cat. But then once he crossed over and was his beautiful, pure soul again, he has a bigger picture. He has more information, and he decided to go in a different direction. And that is perfectly up to him whether or not he wants to do that. Now, you might ask, well, if he's a part of your soul, don't you have a say in it? I don't know. I haven't actually delved into that kind of information about it because I didn't really question it. I just knew that that was part of what he had decided to do. There's also an element of codependency in pets. And that was something that I was actually grappling with as well, which is I had grown really dependent on him as far as my comfort, as far as my unconditional love. I was spending so much time with him and worrying about him, especially in the last couple of years of his life, because he needed medication and he was ill. So there was a lot going on there. And so when he did go, he told me that he was freeing me, that he was giving me the freedom that I needed to travel, to do all the things that I needed to do. It was a gift that he gave me, even though I didn't really know that I wanted that gift. I didn't know that I needed that gift, but I did. When you get messages from people or from loved ones, and those messages change, you have to accept it. You have to understand that when we get to the other side, we get more information, and then we might make different decisions, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So as it pertains to Celeste and her beautiful boo kitty, you will find out next week what happens, because this is now another session that is about 1.5 years after this session you just listened to. And so she has now her new kitten, her new cat that is Boo ensouled. And I will give you a little backstory on that in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And I'm sending you tons and tons of love. If you're enjoying this podcast, it would be really amazing if you could like, share, and subscribe. Wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify, feel free to give it a review if you feel called. If you are following me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you are notified for every single new episode of the Akashic Recordings. If you feel called to book a session with me, you can always reach me at infinitesoullove.com, and you can book directly on my website. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I can't wait to connect with you next week.